Welcome back to this week's show, and we're talking nasties, horrible little nasty things in our Rotorua lakes. Do we have them? Yes or no? How do we get rid of them? How do we stop them appearing and ruining our beautiful lakes around Rotorua? To answer the question, very knowledgeable people. Firstly, Jolene from the Department of Conservation, welcome.
Good morning, Steve.
And Richard from Environment Bay, plenty welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
So your role, Jolene, with DOC?
Steve, I work at the Rotorua Lakes Area Office here in Sailor Street. I'm a biodiversity ranger. Monitoring is my key role. As part of that, I'm involved in aquatic pests. The department mainly manages pest fish. We also have a role in Didymo awareness and trying to halt the spread of Didymo into the North Island. So I coordinate those programs and for the Rotorua area, the lakes area.
And what about you, Richard, with Environment Bay of Plenty?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm a pest plant officer based here with Environment Bay of Plenty, and we're responsible for pest plants, and that includes aquatic pest plants in the Rotorua lakes. We work in conjunction with the Department of Conservation, Rotorua Lakes, Fish and Game, and we have a combined sort of group that look at a lot of the lakes issues, and my part of that's the aquatic pests.
So when we're talking pest plants, what are we talking about?
Well, the general public know them as oxygen weeds, and there are four main varieties in the Rotorua lakes, which are Elodea, Egeria, Lagrosiphon and Hornwort. So, I mean, that's a bit of a mouthful for the public to get their head around, but the main thing for them to know is that not all of those weeds are in all of the Rotorua lakes. And the worst one of them all is Hornwort. And Hornwort isn't in Lake Okirika, it isn't in Lake Rotomar, it isn't in Lake Rerewhakaitu. And the effect of getting a weed like that into those lakes would be potentially quite devastating for them.
So, I'm going to test my knowledge here a little bit. With those plants you've just mentioned, there are some that are, listen to this, some that are deep water plants.
Yeah.
Some that are mid-water plants, and some that have the roots under the water but actually poke their little heads out the top.
Well, all of those ones are actually
Well done.
are rooted macrophytes. But the hornwort are rooted macrophytes. So they're actually aquatic plants which are rooted to the lake bed. And there are free-floating ones which can cause issues, but they're none of those four actually. And there's two real bad ones called hydrilla, called Salvinia is one, and water hyacinth is the other one.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There's a few out there.
Lots of names.
And what about fish? I mean, pest fish.
Currently there's Gambusia, was the old name for Gambusia is mosquito fish, people may be a little bit more aware of, is currently in a few of the Rotorua lakes. However, as far as we're aware at the moment, there's still no catfish, which is this fellow here.
These are ugly, these are horrible, shocking things, aren't they?
They're not that attractive, no. So currently we think there are no catfish in the Rotorua lakes, and currently no koi carp that we're aware of in the Rotorua lakes, and no other species at this present time. So our main focus is on stopping the spread of these fish from surrounding areas such as Taupo and the Waikato, which there's catfish in Taupo and there's also catfish and koi and other pest fish species in the Waikato. So we're interested in the same messages in terms of stopping these fish actually turning up here in the Rotorua lakes. So. Okay,
so the question is with the fish and the plants, what happens if we get them?
Well, potentially with hornwort in particular, you can end up with large surface-reaching areas of hornwort. It tends to grow through the summer, reaches a peak in around about autumn, and then you can end up with a lot of strandings on the shoreline. It can affect your amenity values around the lake. They start to smell. Just generally they can smother everything and ruin your native biodiversity, which is still remaining in the Rotorua lakes.
And what about Mr. Catfish here? I mean,
same philosophy. I guess the introduction of aquatic pest plants and pest fish can change the ecology of the lakes, and so that has an impact on native species. We have quite a few important native species in the Rotorua lakes: Koaro, Kura, and basically these fish, particularly the catfish and koi carp, they bottom feed and they stir up sediment and can undermine banks and things. So they generally can change the quality of the lake environment and substantially alter sort of the structure and things. So generally detrimental to the current status of the lakes.
So if I was out on one of the lakes having a bit of a fish, pulled up my fish and netted it, and hello,
it's one of these.
One of these things here with a little, it's just horrible. What do I do?
What do you do? Well, the best thing is to actually hold on to the fish. What's really important for us is that we need to be able to see the fish to confirm what the fish exactly is that you've pulled up. Mm-hmm. Hold on to the fish. When the fish is dead, pop it in your freezer so it's preserved, so we can get a good picture of it. Mm-hmm. Give us a call, 0800 DOC HOT, and tell us where you've caught it, what time, if you saw any other fish, and we'll come and have a look, come out and take a look at the fish and ID it, and basically we'll respond depending on what we found.
Sort them out. Sort them out. And the way of weeds, spreading weeds, I mean, it's really quite, for lake users, it's really quite simple, isn't it, to stop the spread. So what do we do?
Well, all of those lake weeds are spread by fragmentation. So it's just a matter of when you're shifting between your lakes to try and do this check, clean, dry thing, which also applies for Didymo as well. So if you pull your boat trailer out and there's some weed on it, just walk around, flick the weed off, move it all off before you move on to another lake. Before you move home, just do it as you move home.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
But people have
Practice.
to make the commitment to do it. DVD out called Stop the Spread.
That's right.
Which I think we've shown a bit of, hopefully, on the show today. Where can people get a hold of a copy of that?
They can get a hold of it at the Rotorua Office of Environment Bay of Plenty. So if they just drop in, see the receptionist, we'll leave a few copies down there for people. The Coast Guard give a lot out. We try and circulate it as widely as we possibly can. But if they're in town, Environment BOP's office next to Levine's there.
Awesome stuff. Guys, thank you so much for coming in on the show and informing us about the pests that
welcome.
hopefully we can contain, if not, in fact, keep away altogether.
That would be
Thank you,
great.
Steve.
Thanks,
A
Steve.
couple of websites you can check out to find out further details. envbop.govt.nz. It's always hard one to say that one. envbop.govt.nz or doc.govt.nz. A couple of good websites with some awesome information. Off to a break, and then we are talking how we entertain the kids over the school holidays with a little bit of fishing, thanks to a couple of characters from the Rotorua Anglers Association. Next on Rotoview.